welcome back to Novel Idea. My name is Deea. Today I want to share the books that I have collected over the last 6 months since we did a book haul last time. And I have quite a few. I'm going to do my best to do them in sort of a semblance of order so that you can skip around if you want to. So, without further ado, let's jump in and let me show you these books. I already have read several books that would be in this haul, but because I either have already read them and reviewed them or am about to review them, I'm not going to put them in the haul because I don't want to talk about the same books over and over again. Let's jump in and let's start with the picture books that I have picked up. They're mostly Christmas. Not all of them are Christmas, but they're mostly Christmas. So let me do the ones that aren't necessarily Christmas. Although, if in the Victorian tradition I was staying, I could easily read this at Christmas time. This is the Random House book of ghost stories. This is edited by Susan Hill, the author of Woman in Black, and illustrated by Angela Barrett, whose style reminds me so much of Edward Gorey. It's not, this is in color a lot, and I don't know that I've ever seen an Edward Gorey in color. The Victorians often read ghost stories around Christmas time. That's one of the reasons why A Christmas Carol is written the way that it is. But anyway, I don't know. I might pick this up and read a couple during the holiday season, but that's the first one. I don't know where I'm going to put all of these as I tell you about them. I found this at my bookstore, and this is my used bookstore. This is William the Curious, Night of the Water Lilies, and it's a frog night. I just thought it was wonderful. So I haven't read it yet, but it's written and illustrated by Charles Centauri, maybe? And the illustrations are just wonderful. So I'm really looking forward to picking it up. Beauty and the Beast, illustrated by Meg Park. It's another one that I could recommend for a winter read. Not necessarily Christmas. I have started to collect Marjolaine Bastian's Vera Mouse books, and I found this. I thought when I found this online that it was going to be one of the Vera Mouse books are not even as big as this picture normally. They're just little tiny books, and I thought that this was going to be another one of those. But this is Christmas with Vera, and inside it's like activities. I love these end papers. They're so cute. It's activities and stories to go along with the season. These are the players. And then you have things like, here's a present in the tree branches, and then there's do-it-yourself stamps that you make with apples, that kind of thing. So just different things like that. I'm really looking forward to reading through it and maybe trying to do a few of them with my grandkids. I picked up Rumor Godden's Holly and Ivy, but this is illustrated by Barbara Cooney, which is the reason why I really wanted it. I love this story, but I really love Barbara Cooney's illustrations, and so I had to pick up a copy of this. This is Pearl S. Buck's Christmas Day in the Morning. I haven't read this in many, many years. This is illustrated by Mark Buhner, and I remember really liking this as a kid, but I don't remember, I don't think this was the version. Maybe it was, but I love the use of light in this. Like the only thing that you can see is just where the light from the lantern is. I'm really looking forward to reacquainting myself with it. Look at this light, just where the lantern is. I just love it. J. Lynch's illustrated edition of A Christmas Carol. I reread The Christmas Carol every year. I already have a few versions of it. Every time I find one that I just really would love to have. Bob Cratchit and Fred. There's a double page one. Just really beautiful. So I'm looking forward to another version of A Christmas Carol. Speaking of, this one is abridged. It's retold by Adam McCowan and illustrated by Gerald Kelly. There's Marley and the Door Knocker. Christmas Past. Love collecting those. Another one that I have a few versions of, but I do get them every single time I find them. I have Arthur Rackham's illustrated version of The Night Before Christmas by Clement Seymour. Classic. I love how Santa Claus is portrayed as a little, like almost elf size in this. He's just a tiny little guy. So some of them are just the pen and ink, and some of them are the full color. I picked up another version of The Nutcracker by Michael Haig. This one is illustrated by Michael Haig. I tend to like the illustration styles of people that make the Nutcracker a little more whimsical, a little more magical. And so I don't think this is going to be a favorite version because it looks a little too detailed. Reminds me a little bit of Marie Sendak, but in a even more disturbing way. And so I find this one, disturbing rather than whimsical. Really love seeing the way that people illustrate the Nutcracker. Okay, this is one that I picked up because this is another one that I remember from my childhood. And this is The Day Before Christmas by Eve Bunting and paintings by Beth Peck. And this is the story of a little girl whose mother has died, but her mother's father is still in her life. And her father has remarried, but once day her grandfather tells her that they are going to go do something, just the two of them. And it's just absolutely precious the way this deals with grief and memory, and the beauty of making more memories, and I just love it. So I'm really happy to have this one added to the collection. Another one that I absolutely love, and it is very, very hard to find in English, number one, and in good condition, hardcover, number two. And that is any Ernest and Celestine books. This is Merry Christmas, Ernest and Celestine. And I love, 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 love this bear and this mouse. And I'm so happy to have this one in my hot little hand. It's not in the best condition. It was previously owned by a library. I added some binding tape and some different things because I did not want it to fall apart. But you can see that it's kind of separating and such soon. I just love this story. So, Ernest and Celestine, Gabrielle Vincent is who it is written and illustrated by. All of the Ernest and Celestine books. I found Trina Shart Hyman's How Six Found Christmas. I love Trina Shart Hyman's illustrations. I did not realize that she had actually written a book. Absolutely adorable. Look at this. I love it. And it is the sweetest little illustrations. I can't wait to read it. I found this Advent book. This is illustrated by Katie Hickey, and it has little doors on the front that lift up, and you can do it that way. But then it also has, here's the end papers. So pretty. But then it also has letters to Santa, deck the halls, raspberry hot chocolate, paper snowflakes. So again, it's kind of crafts and activities for the Christmas season. If you've been around here very long, you know that as far as picture books go, I love Eliza Wheeler. This was at my library, like their little store that they have attached. That's maybe through Friends of the Library. But anyway, this is Cozy Winter Day by Eliza Wheeler. And I cannot wait to read it. It's so cute. Here's the Acorn Villagers. They all have their names. And here's the end papers. I can't pick it up because it was a library book. So here, let's go to the back side and see if, oh, and then it's dark when you get to the back. Oh my goodness. I love it. I have been trying to collect Adrienne Adams books every time I see them for a decent price. There are none that are in print any longer. And this is called The Christmas Party. No cover left on it, not in the best condition, but I don't care because her books are so hard to come by that when I find one in decent condition, that's all I want to do is just have it. I found Madeline's Christmas. This is by Ludwig Bemelman, as all of the Madeline books are. And there are our little girls in 2 straight lines. I love Madeline. Love them. Can you tell I'm excited about all of these? Okay. And here is Maurice Sendak's Nutcracker. So, like I said, the other one reminds me of his illustrations because of the exaggerated faces and mouths and eyes and all of that. But this one feels much more magical to me than the other one did. Goodness, isn't that beautiful? Rat King, Mouse King, whatever you want to call him. Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas is just so special. I love this story. And I do think that I have a different copy of this, but I love the cover of this one. This is told by Russell Hoban, and Lillian Hoban is the one that illustrates it. And that's pretty much the case with all of Russell Hoban's books. Lillian usually illustrates them. So cute. Ma and Emmett don't have a lot of money, and they're trying to figure out what to do for each other for Christmas. It reminds me a little bit of O. Henry's story, The Gift of the Magi, but with otters. Jan Brett's Snowy Nap. And I love Jan Brett's illustrations and things. I'm not overly fond of any of her stories in particular, but the illustrations just make everything so magical. And they're just so lovely and quaint, I think is a good word for them. But yeah, anyway, Snowy Nap. Another one that I got simply because it's illustrated by Barbara Cooney. I have not read it yet. This is Luhi, Witch of North Farm. Maybe it's Lauhi, Witch of North Farm. It looks very Scandinavian to me. Just the fact that she is living in a cabin and skiing out. Look at her little shoes down here. Another of The Night Before Christmas. This one is illustrated by Charles Santor again. This is a fun page because it opens up this way and this way. So I love all these different illustration styles of the same story. It's absolutely fascinating to me, the way that different artists interpret it. And then the last of the kind of Christmas books, I'm gonna move these back over here so that I've got space. Okay. I have Lion in a Box. This is by Marguerite D'Angeli, who is the same one who wrote Door in the Wall, I think. Beautiful little story about a family at Christmas that just don't have a whole lot, and quite a large surprise that happens. And it even at the end of the story tells you about the kids when they have grown up. So it's just really lovely. I found another version of Truman Capote's A Christmas Memory. This is one of my favorite Christmas stories, and it's quite an unconventional kind of Christmas story, but I really love it. And I'm sure that part of that is nostalgia because I read it when I was quite young the first time, and there was something in me as a child that connected with the being othered in this story. I don't think it has any illustrations. This is a modern library edition, by the way, so you can see that's the modern library symbol. There's no illustrations or anything in it. Which there are, I didn't say this, but there are illustrations in Lion in the Box. And I'm pretty sure they're by Margaret DeAngeli, because it doesn't say anything other than that. The Greatest Gift, this is what the movie It's a Wonderful Life is based on. And I have read this before. I did not own my own copy, so when I saw this, I went ahead and picked that up. Cornelia Funke, her book, The Glass of Lead and Gold. And this is a Pushkin classic, children's edition. And I love this cover, and it looks very much like a wintry book. It says, "In the snow-covered city of Londra, in a land of elves, mermaids, and trolls, true magic is where you least expect it." I'm not going to read anymore because I do like going into things kind of blind. Is the one who wrote not Inkblood. Is it Inkblood? That doesn't sound right. Can't remember the name of there's a series of books that she wrote. What is it? If I said it, you guys would know. Anyway, I really liked it. This one is tiny in comparison to those, though, so really looking forward to that one. You'll probably see that one on my list of Christmas books for December as well. And then another one that I picked up is The Great and Terrible Quest. And this is by Margaret Lovett. I had been looking for this book for a while, and it's really hard to find. Or at least it was for me. And I think that this is kind of a print on demand copy. I don't think it says Avix but I've never heard of Avix. I don't know anything about it. The paper and the print on the inside, the font on the inside, remind me of a print on demand. Even every now and then the like words aren't correctly put on the page. So I have a feeling that it's probably a print on demand. But like I said, it was really hard to find, and especially affordably. And so when I saw this one on a shelf during some of our travels this last year, I had to pick that one up. Nonfiction. Here we go. So this is going to be my Advent read this year. This is Malcolm Geet, Waiting on the Word, a poem a day for Advent, Christmas, and Epiphany. So that's my plan, is to read this. Paris Christmas Immovable Feast by John Baxter. This was a recommendation from Topher's library. Topher's Library, I think that's what it's called. He's a channel that I haven't been following for very long. I think he's been around for a little while, but I haven't been following him. So I just started following him, and he had a winter Christmas recommendations list, and this was on his list. And so I picked it up because I had seen it at my used bookstore and just didn't bother with it. And then when he recommended it, I thought, okay, all right, I'm going to give it a try. A witty cultural and culinary education, charming, funny, and improbable tale of how a man who was raised on white bread and didn't speak a word of French unexpectedly ended up with the sacred duty of preparing the annual Christmas dinner for a venerable Parisian family. Timothy Keller, Generous Justice, How God's Grace Makes Us Just. I don't always get along with Pastor Keller's writing style. I love his sermons, love listening to him speak, could listen to him speak all day long, but I am not a huge fan of some of the books that I've read just because of the way that they're written. But I did love Hidden Christmas last year, like I said. So I think Generous Justice, I'm going to give it a try. Currently reading this. This is Spilling the Beans on the Cat's Pajamas. This is Popular Expressions, What They Mean, and How We Got Them by Judy Parkinson. And it's really fun. And I'm enjoying kind of the history and the backstory of some of the things in our language that we say and why they mean what they mean. We were just on our anniversary trip. I picked up The Imitation of Christ by Thomas à Kempis. It's one that I've been wanting for a while. It was $1. This is funny. Written by the Augustinian monk, Thomas à Kempis. And my next book that I was going to show you is The Confessions of St. Augustine. Yeah, so with the intention of directing readers towards spiritual peace. That's what this one is. And this one is St. Augustine's is coming to Christ after years, decades of living atheistic kind of manner. Literary feasts. This is inspired eating from classic fiction. So they have taken fictional works and the foods and feasts described in those fictional works and prepared a literary feast for us. This is Sean Brand, and it says culinary moments from Paradise Lost, Ulysses, Moby Dick, Madame Bovary, Emma, The Great Gatsby, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and A Christmas Carol, and many more. I think this is one that I will hang on to until Foodie February. I picked up an autobiography of Margaret Oliphant, and this is by Broadview Publishers and edited by Elizabeth J. I recently read Hester by Margaret Oliphant for Victober and enjoyed it, and just found out that she wrote a lot, and I'm curious, to find out more about her. Also one that I will probably save for Foodie February. This is In Winter's Kitchen, Growing Roots and Breaking Bread in the Northern Heartland by Beth Dooley. A portrait of the people, farmers, artisans, chefs, and restaurateurs who are building a vibrant movement in the Northern Heartland. Northern Heartland, what does that mean exactly? Is that Minnesota? Is that in Canada? I don't know exactly what Northern Heartland means, but we'll find out. Poem Crazy by Wooldridge. And it's freeing your life with words, and it's just about constructing poems. I believe I heard about this from Amy at Harthridge. She's actually in the middle of it right now too. So, but yeah, I picked it up and I don't remember where. It looks like it was a library book. It's definitely seen better days. My tea today is ginger and pink pepper. Christmas with Victoria. Victoria was a magazine that began in, I think, the 1980s, late 1980s. It went out of print for quite a while. I think that they have started back up. But this one is from the year 1997. This is just a collection of their Christmas editions up until this point. So really looking forward to diving into that. I loved this magazine when it was being printed. Let's talk about some fiction, not classic fiction. Some of these could be considered like modern classics, but I tend to think of classics as like more than 75 years old. Part of that's because I'm 56. So, all right. Mary Stewart, Stormy Petrel, what a cover. What a cover. I have really enjoyed Mary Stewart and her mysterious, is that, I don't know. They're very atmospheric books. And it says Mistress of Suspense Romance, but I would not say that I have read a Mary Stewart yet where I would consider it a romance. There might be some romance in there, but I have yet to read one where I would say, oh yeah, romance. My quest to read the Pulitzers, I picked up Tinkers by Paul Harding. I read Paul Harding's Eden book that came out recently. It was up for the Booker Prize, I think, a few years ago. I did enjoy the Eden book, whatever that was called. I'll try to put a picture up. This is the one that he won the Pulitzer for, so I'm going to try to read that one. Hopefully I enjoy it. When I read Daughter of Time, I had several people tell me that their other favorite Josephine Tey was this one, To Love and Be Wise. And so I went ahead and picked up To Love and Be Wise, and I do have plans to read it this next year. I read Master and Commander many years ago and just never really went on in the series. So Jack Aubrey and his kind of story continues, and Aaron from Aaron Read a Book, Aaron Read a Book said this one he likes even more. And so it kind of reminded me that I have not picked up any more in this world. And so I think I'm going to try to read Post Captain in this next year as well. Anya Seton's Dragonwyck. I don't know if this is going to be for me. It might be. I might be surprised, but I do know that several people on here, Shelley from Shelley Swearingen and some others, have really enjoyed Catherine by Anya Seton. And I have not read Catherine, and I can't find it anywhere, which bodes well for it being a good book, because when you can't find a book several years old, you can't find it on used shelves, it's probably a good book. But I did manage to find this one, so I will try it. It says that it's the spring of 1844 when the Wells family receives a letter from a distant relative, a wealthy landowner, Nicholas Van Ryan, and he invites one of their daughters for an extended visit to his Hudson Valley estate, Dragonwyck. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It may not be for me. Claire Keegan's Walk the Blue Fields. I have not heard anything about this book. I did enjoy Small Things Like These. I did enjoy Foster. In fact, I loved Foster. But I tried 2 other collections by Claire Keegan. I tried something about Antarctica, and then something about days. I can't remember. I'll try to put a picture up of it as well. But neither one of them were the things that I loved about Foster and Small Things. Both Foster and Small Things have this very kind of hopeful, forward, upward kind of feel to them. And neither one of those other ones did. And so I didn't enjoy them as much, but I thought I would give Walk the Blue Fields a try. For Mary Stewart, I have Touch Not the Cat. This is one that Becca from Read Becca mentioned that she had, and I hadn't picked it up, but I had seen it several times. And so when she mentioned that she had it, I was like, I'll just go grab it. I called to make sure that they had it still. Lastly, for ones not, my version of a classic, this is The Willows in Winter, and this is by William Horwood with illustrations by Patrick Benson. And it's supposed to be a kind of sequel to Wind in the Willows, a winter story. And I'm really looking forward to it. I really hope that I get to spend time with Badger and Molly, and I'm just really looking forward to it. So you'll see this on my December TBR. Classics. Okay. The Chronicles of Carlingford Salem Chapel. So Mrs. Oliphant, I told you I enjoyed Hester. It's not an all-time new favorite, but I read it overall. And so I thought I would give her another try and see if I like everything she's written as much as I liked Hester, or more, maybe. So this is Salem Chapel. I've been told that this is not where I should start in the Chronicles of Carlingford, but there you go. Que Sera. Romola by George Eliot. This is an Eliot that I have only read once, and I have no real memory of it. And I think that this was historical fiction for Eliot when she was writing it. So I'm looking forward to doing it. I do have plans to read this already. Also already have plans to read this one. This is George Gissing, New Grub Street. I've never read Gissing, so need to do that, need to remedy that. Mary Roberts Reinhardt, The Wall. I was so unaware of the fact that this book was a classic. I had no idea. So this was originally published in 1935. Do have plans to read this one as well, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a kind of a mystery sci-fi, I think. Not positive about that. I have been meaning to read The Fairy Queen by Edmund Spenser, and I think in January I'm going to begin, and I don't know how long it's going to take. This is quite large. 1,055 pages. So it's going to take a little while, but I do have somebody that wants to buddy read this. So that's exciting, and we'll just take however long we need to take. Gabrielle Wa's Garden in the Wind. This was again, these are books that I am just grabbing up when I find them for a good price, no matter the version. I don't know when I'm going to get to this one, but like I said, I just need to keep them in my collection because I want to make sure that I have them on hand when we're ready to read them. I usually read these with my friend Sandra. Sir Walter Scott's The Bride of Lammermoor. This is, I think, part of the Waverley series, but from what I understand, you do not have to read them in order, which is good because I've already read The Antiquary. I loved it. And so I really want to read this one. I have read a couple of others in the Waverley books. I've read Rob Roy, hated it. I've read Ivanhoe. I don't think that's in the Waverley, but I didn't love Ivanhoe either. I'm hopeful because I did really enjoy The Antiquary. And I've heard good things about Waverley itself. So, The Great Divorce. This is by C.S. Lewis. And this is one of his novels. So it's a bus ride from heaven to hell. Out of Africa. I have read this, but I don't, and I didn't really love it, to be honest. But because of Babette's Feast and because I'm older now, I just thought I need to reread it. This also has Shadows on the Grass in here. And I don't know anything about Shadows on the Grass. Out of Africa is a kind of autobiographical story of Karen Blixen, whose pen name is Isaac Denison, or Isaac Denison. We'll see. We'll see how I get along with it, but I picked it up because it wasn't expensive. Song of Roland. I just love ancient literature. You guys know this by now. Translated by W.S. Merwin. They have no idea who it was originally written by. I'm thinking it is, I want to say originally French. I could be wrong about that, but it's got a blurb by Dorothy Sayers here on the cover. I'm really excited about this. Already have plans for that one. One that had been on my TBR for a long time, and I did find on one of our travels this past year, is The Outermost House by Henry Beston. And it's a year of life on the great beach of Cape Cod. I probably should have put this in the nonfiction. It's just like a diary chronicling his year in this Cape Cod house. This one is Christowell. This is by R.D. Blackmore. And it's a lovely little edition. This is leather, and then the cardboard. And it says that it was originally a library book from Easton, Massachusetts. I read Lorna Doone, I don't know how many years ago now, but pretty sure it might have been like the first year of my channel. But I read Lorna and I absolutely loved it. It's almost like a McCoy's and Hatfield kind of situation. Two families that do not get along, that do not like each other, and are feuding all the time. And a girl from one of the families and a son from the other family end up falling in love, and just kind of the ensuing things that happen as a result of that. Christowell, I've never heard of. I don't know anything about. I'm going to have to do a little bit of research, but I loved Lorna Doone so much I wanted to read Christowell. Freckles. This is by Jean Stratton Porter. Freckles by Jean Stratton Porter, Grosset Dunlap, and this was printed in 1916. Girl of the Limberlost is one of my girls's and also was my grandmother's favorite book. And my girls for years re-listened or reread Girl of the Limberlost an entire day, sometimes 2 days, being just with each other and doing all kinds of sister things, painting each other's fingernails and dressing up. They would listen sometimes to Girl of the Limberlost, and they would make cookies, or they would there were all kinds of things, but Girl of the Limberlost was always part of that. And Freckles, one of my girls likes even more than Girl of the Limberlost as a story, but as a nostalgia, Girl of the Limberlost still ranks in there. Set of Wilkie Collins. And I have been reading through most of the Wilkie Collins with friends, and so this is going to be no different. I have The Two Destinies, The Black Robe, Jezebel's Daughter, and A Rogue's Life. And these are also very old. And I still think I'm going to try to read from them, though. They're in pretty good condition. I'm just trying to find if there is a copyright date, because I'm not seeing one. They're like numbered up here. This is volume 30. This is volume 27. This is volume 23. And this is volume 28. 23, 27, 28, and 30. But these are the ones that I found. And I had not read any of these four. So that is going to be amazing. All right, you guys, we did it. That's it. That's all. Thanks for hanging out with me, sticking in there. If you see any of these books that you have read and you want to tell me your excitement about it, I would love to know. Or even the opposite, if there's something here that you've read that you just really didn't like, I would love to know that too, because it'll just make me look into it a little bit deeper. And I may not hang on to it. None of these books were expensive, not one. Some of them I got with credit at my used bookstore. Some of them are from eBay. Some of them are from Goodwill, but none of them were expensive. Some of them were from my library book shop. So anyway, I hope that that you enjoyed this, because it is long, and I will try to not let things pile up so much, but I did want to share what I have picked up. So all right, I will be back very soon with my December pile of possibilities, a few of which you may have seen in here. And I will talk to you again very soon in another video.